It's that time again. Happy Easter.
You may remember I embarked on a ranking of every Christmas special from Doctor Who. It was a project that took me a whole month, and during that time I was able to notice a pattern. By pattern, I mean David Tennant.
We even have a bit of a love life.
It's not all about 10. I'm going to be talking about a couple of ideas that are paramount to a good festive special. It becomes incredibly relevant when next year we will have the lost tradition return to our screens with Russell T Davies. I also felt that my ranking lacked a detailed explanation about what makes this story my favourite. Therefore, this Christmas I present to you what makes a perfect Christmas special. Our chosen case study is, you all know it, Voyage of the Damned. It's regarded as a brilliant story and happens to be the most watched episode of the revival with 13.4 million people watching it on Christmas Day 2007. It stars David Tennant and Kylie Minogue taking a space cruise on the recreation of the Titanic, and with a name like that, of course it's going to crash into the earth and wipe out all life. We also have angels, no, not those. We have wide-eyed robots ready to strangle you, no, not those. These, the hosts. It's a 70-minute action adventure with a falling ship and homicidal angels decimating the crew, bringing me to my first characteristic, spectacle. First I'm going to need some milk, so... But when it comes to writing a special, the best ones are the ones with concept. And this one has one bigger than these spoonfuls. Finding a concept is easier said than done, but if it excites you, then I think it works. Marshmallows. Doctor Who has had certain ideas that their show is bread and butter. I'd make some, but it doesn't really go with hot chocolate. Base is under siege, a ticking clock, the world at stake. Capitalism, good versus evil. This episode has it all. Oh dear. Oh. Mayday, mayday! Obviously, all of this is clouded by nostalgia. I find the battle scene makes me very happy, even though it may not for someone else. Shit. The marshmallows may be the sweet stuff for the fans, but what really matters is the chocolate below. I'm so glad I made this drink relevant. It's unlike any other time of year because it gives people a time to reconnect. So you watch Doctor Who with a series of generations with very different understandings of the show. What I'm getting at is it needs to be accessible. A 70-minute paradoxical mess may be great for the fans, but not for your nan. A good concept will allow someone to understand the outline within a sentence. It's the same for these set pieces where you can see the problem and enjoy the solution. It makes it something that everyone can enjoy, and it de-ices the heart.
Oh, I think I've had too many hot chocolates.
An episode can't survive on pure spectacle. Just talk to the final season of Game of Thrones. In the heart of every story, there is great characters. Astrid is our could-be companion with dreams of leaving her dead-end job and travelling the stars. A beautiful feature of Ten's performance is the joy of giving her a big snog. I mean, the chance to see the world. He has found someone that has similar values to him, and look how smitten he is with her during the episode. It all becomes quite painful in the end. Minogue gives a decent performance, definitely not one that deserves the hate it apparently got. Although Catherine Jenkins was irreplaceable in A Christmas Carol, to the extent her voice was the solution to the plot. Her surreal, slightly out-of-place performance may drive from the fact that it's Kylie Minogue, the pop titan, on your screen. Astrid could have been played by so many other actresses. But let's be honest, who doesn't love a bit of Kylie?
Honestly, one of the worst things I've ever had to record.
There is also a series of complementing characters that have their own stake in the story and make their own decisions based on the choices in front of them. Take the corrupt captain intent on killing everyone on the ship. His positive counterpart trying to help with his lack of real experience, simply doing what he believes to be right. There's a nice little story within that. Yes, Russell Tovey. A humble elderly man who has had a hard life, so the joy when he is given money to live out a happy, safe existence is so sweet. They didn't need to do this, he could have just been an exposition machine. But this was a nice flair. A hardened businessman who only cares for himself, and with the whole experience becomes extortionately rich. Not a redemption, but his appearance adds panic and conflict to the group, but makes Astrid's death even worse, implying that sometimes good people die and horrid people live, making that sense of loss cut deeper for the Doctor. Personally, the villain is the worst part of the story. It's very pantomime and super cheesy, but without that he wouldn't be a very interesting personality in the story, and I'd be sitting here telling you that the villain was an afterthought. The cyborg reveal and his motivations work quite well, but he's just a bit washing machine. Upon reflection, his plan doesn't make any sense at all, because why would he even place himself on the ship that's about to crash into Earth? He could be getting an oil change or something, he doesn't need to be there. He also says he can turn off the engines remotely, which begs the question why he didn't just do it sooner when the meteorites crashed into the ship.
Not a great plan.
But when you're being moved along by the episode so nicely, it's quite easy to ignore such issues. Now it's time to cry. A great Christmas special is incomplete without emotional damage.
I resign.
Last year I realised that my favourite specials are those that carry a lot of emotional weight. This one is a stinker. It reminds me of the levels of death in Resurrection of the Daleks. Both of these times, not everybody lives, and in heartbreaking terms. Astrid, you could have jumped out of that forklift. What was Max going to do? Grow arms and steady himself? He's not even on the ground anymore. Circumstances become a very painful point within her death. She's perfect for the Doctor. Look at how he glances at her. She chooses to be brave, save the Doctor, and pays the ultimate charge for that. Such lost potential. Then there's the parting gift, allowing a small part of her to travel. I mean, you're not crying your eyes out on the floor, but it's definitely a sad story. There are other nasty deaths. This poor lady is hit by a beam. We have the Van Hoffs, who come on holiday and have their lives cruelly cut short. There's captains, there's Bana Catalata. Even the Doctor decides all of this is too much. Something that I've always loved is when the cast gets scraped and bruised and beaten during the story. David is sliced, not in time with the blade, but it happens. They start off in their finery and they end up with loose ties and tinted shirts. I really love this stuff because it shows the hardship they went through in the 70 minutes. Combining that with the deaths make the victory even sweeter. So here's where I find it also satisfying. Christmas is so nostalgia based. I have certain traditions that I stick to each year. Watching the specials I think is quite a common one. If not, I've just outed myself as some sort of sad weirdo.
We already knew that.
Dad? What I'm trying to say is circumstances can greatly change how you feel about an episode. I definitely make links with an episode and my mood at the time. My top 3 are not only great episodes, but are also super nostalgic for me.
It's probably too much David Tennant, though.
Dad, who said you could improvise?
So that's it for this year's Christmas special. I hope you did enjoy it. If you would like to check out my ranking that I did last year of all of the Christmas specials, then I shall leave a link to a card on the screen right now. I will warn you, it does change every single year, but it's a video I'm really happy with. And yes, I know what you're thinking. I am going to be wearing this on Christmas Day. I've had this since September. I was extremely prepared for it. Why not tell me about your Christmas traditions down in the comments below? I'm going to be watching Voyage of the Damned tonight, if you're watching this on release day. If you're not, happy Easter if you're watching it in April. And if you're watching it at the end of the world, I've got my fingers crossed for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.